Hello, everyone. This is an update on the development of the RSVP convention. And one of the things I wanted to do is allow you guys to add NPCs in the game. And these NPCs are like a lot more customizable than you expect because it's not really simple stuff like I just put an NPC in that. As you can see, you can add NPCs like here. You can see that it moves like when you're away from it. It's like playing its idle animation, right? When you get close to it, it actually responds, right? And the interesting thing is that if you hover over it, it's going to say interact. If you press E, it's interact and you get a dialogue option. And it'll say a text on top of here, right? And, I can say, can I set up a booth here? And look at hear that, listen to that, right? It's a right? So when you select a certain dialogue option, it actually play a sound. Okay, I'm going to do another. So another interesting thing about this dialogue is it is a dialogue tree. So you can have multiple options, right? So I'll go up here again, and I'm going to hover over my character, right? And I say, may I get a lemonade, right? Sure thing. I warn you, it's light on sugar. Here. And you can say, not bad, or ew, that's bitter. And if I were to say, ew, that's better, right? It plays the oof sound, right? Let's interact again and see a different option. May I get a lemonade? And you say, not bad. It just plays an option. Now I want to explain how exactly this thing works. So the NPC is filled with a lot of stuff. So what it does is, and you might wonder what this highlight is, I'm using something called a instance tagging plugin. And I can enable this or disable this. So if you see in here, you notice that this object, this NPC, has the dynamic NPC tag on it. And if I were to disable it, it's going to disable it, and it's not going to play the behavior. It's not going to have the same behavior. Now, how this works is under here, under the rig, it has a couple of stuff. It has the NPC animation folder, and you see here it has 2 moon files. And moon file, it needs to be moon files. I need to specify it needs to be moon file. So if you save your moon file and paste it here, right? Make sure to paste it into an NPC animation. And if you do it there, the idle will be the idle animation, and react is the animation that plays when the player gets near the character. Now, the NPC text bubble, and you may notice when you got in there, like it might like put up like some sort of text. You can add as much here. So without interacting it, when you get close to the character, I'll have like certain like text that shows up on top of them. And you can put that there. Other objects is related to the NPC animation. You need to make sure any other object inside of the animation file that is outside of the rig should be put into this other object later on. Otherwise, it will not work, right? When you put your moon file here, it should automatically set it. And make sure and find all the objects inside the animation. So like it'll play normally. All right, I don't know how to explain it, but the point is it'll do it for you, most of it. Now the dialogue uses the traditional dialogue system in Roblox. So you have this dialogue object and you have dialogue choices. And you just do it normally, like how it is, right? So you have the initial prompt, which is the first thing the NPC says to you, and then you have dialogue choices. The user dialogue is how you're going to respond, and then the response dialogue is like what you want to say, right? And under here, if you have a sound instance for when you choose it, it'll play whatever the sound is below it, right? So you can have sound effects playing depending on the choices you make. I might also make it so it'll play an animation, but I don't know. Anyway, that's all.